that. So,
Yeah.
I'd love to get a couple of things around that. And here's the thing too, knowing that you're on, just, I guess,
Have a conversation.
yeah, there's a beautiful song. They're gonna put me in the movie.
I don't know that
Make
song,
a big
huh?
star out of me.
Is this a real song?
The biggest fool to ever hit the big time, and all I gotta do is act naturally.
Are you
You know the song?
Oh, yeah. Russ Owens, Bakersfield, California, the Bakersfield sound.
Orlando, is that an old song you're singing for us? Because we were just
60s.
talking about
60s.
Dean and Sarah.
I wasn't born yet.
You need to watch Ken Burns' country music.
I do. I need to watch. Yeah.
He was one of the best.
So you're doing a lot of things at Chapel Hill, and very progressive views and changing a lot of stuff. What's kind of driving that?
Good question. So I think it's getting everyone to have an entrepreneurial mindset. I mean, one of our strategic priorities is really to embrace an entrepreneurial mindset and start to think differently, ask what if. And a great example of that is with Isolite. So we have faculty in dental schools who for years have advocated that we only can create separation and isolation through rubber dams. And they continue to be fixed on that, and yet when they're practicing in their own practices or faculty practices, they don't use them. So either we have to practice what we preach, or we have to practice something different. So, and Isolite allows us to do that.
That's pretty cool. And what are some of the things you've been running into? And now that you're here, since you said you've been here about 2 years, which is age 20? Oh, no.
I've been here 2.5 years. It's academic medicine, academic dentistry is not quick to change. And so that is the biggest hurdle, is getting people to think differently, getting people to do things differently, changing, for us now 69 years of a culture to be nimble enough to be around for the next 69 years.
So that's kind of the focus. What are some of the things you've been running into?
Oh, some resistance. There's always some resistance. Not necessarily students, some faculty, some alumni. But the biggest challenge is getting everyone on board with the idea that we have to change. I'm a big fan of Jack Welch, longtime CEO of General Electric, and he always would say, change before you have to. And the other thing he said, if the amount of change outside your organization is bigger than the amount of change inside your organization, the end is in sight. So change management is a big part of what I do.
So from a dean's perspective, what advice would you give the other deans?
Get an MBA. Because you end up running your school with the skills you earn and learn and gain from business administration, not from the skills you learn and earned as a dental student.
And how hard is it to get an MBA?
Well, it depends where you do it. But I mean, it's really not the degree as much as the skill set. It's about understanding finance and accounting and marketing and organizational behavior and leadership and strategy. It's not about teeth, and it's much bigger than that.
Well, you mentioned oral health,
Yeah.
medicine. There seems to be a kind of a coming together. We're hearing a lot of that. What is kind of your perspective on that, and how does that affect what you're trying to do?
So my background is in oral medicine, and I think one of the things that's important to understand is that as an oral medicine specialist, I have always viewed dentistry as the oral specialty of medicine. And I think that's how we have to approach it. We need to think bigger. We need to add value to the greater healthcare system. And dental schools have to be partners with hospitals, with health systems, with insurers like Health Partners and Kaiser and others. We have to be a part of the equation to improve population health.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Where do you see technology fitting into this whole mix? Yeah.
Technology's changing daily. I mean, obviously, it is literally changing the profession in profound ways, from do-it-yourself aligners for braces to digital impressions and milling and 3D printing. It's we can only imagine what the future is going to look like for the dental profession. I hope I'm around long enough to see it.
Well, technology from a clinical perspective, but also it sounds like technology from the dental school, from the entity, and how you communicate. So you mentioned something about social media.
Yeah, so I mean, I've engaged our students in social media. We actually have a director of teledentistry within our dental school who's been working on teledentistry initiatives
Oh, wow.
in combination with the virtual care center of our health system. We have new teaching technologies that are being embraced every day in our classrooms. It's really an interesting combination of or convergence of working with faculty that are somewhat excited about the future, but also have a lot of trepidation about what the future holds, because there's long-standing tradition in dental education, health education in general, that, so we have to preserve what's great, preserve the great aspects, but also focus on what some of these newer technologies and newer innovative ideas can do to advance health and education of students.
Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for taking the time with us. Thank you for expressing that. I'm really excited to see kind of where this is going. There's
Glad
so
to
many.
do it.
Your team, phenomenal. We've been working with Anna and Kathy. We've met Lisa down.
Good.
Lisa down in the in CSU. I
Yep,
keep thinking
yep,
Cal State
Yeah,
University.
central sterilization.
So,
Yeah, and your pediatric department. We spent time with us. So,
Great.
and thank you, Paul. But
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
Good. Well, glad to do it.
It's very
And
I've got to
thanks
go
for your
to a
help.
new faculty orientation. I'll have